The bow of the ship has reopened after a 4-year closure. The old event ticket booths were demolished, and a new gift shop opened in the former Submarine gift shop, and a revolutionary new concept in immersive entertainment aboard the Queen Mary is quickly selling out. All of this and more on this July repair update for the RMS Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. I'm your host, Alex the Historian, and I make these periodic repair updates to keep people informed of all the things going on around the ship we love. This update was videoed for me courtesy of my friend LMG Vids, and I have a link to his YouTube channel in the description below. We are here in the parking lot. The old events ticket booth has finally been demolished. It was an old and dilapidated structure that did nothing but make the area look more industrial and unattractive. As per Long Beach's promise of demolishing unused structures around the Queen Mary, they finally came in and got rid of this eyesore, and in its place are new parking spaces. Eventually, this whole parking lot will be redeveloped into a shopping and dining complex, but that's just a project too far into the future to discuss now. The old ticket booth and gift shop for the abandoned Russian submarine has been converted into a ticket booth and gift shop for the Queen Mary. If you're looking to buy tickets, you will no longer line up by the main entrance. Instead, you go to this repurposed structure. Inside are much of the same merchandise you can find on the ship, but it's a great way to offer items that maybe you forgot to purchase, or if you're just a pedestrian walking up to the ship for a better view but not intending to board it. Up on sun deck of the ship, the first half of the year brought some rain, which unsurprisingly brought new rust stains and chipping of the paint applied back in 2017. The ship's maintenance crew has been working diligently to touch up these areas of paint and continue their efforts to remove old, poorly painted areas, and to properly repaint them to the new management's higher standards of work. With a ship the size of the Chrysler Building in New York City, you can imagine that a small maintenance crew is busy every day with repair and repaint work. We don't expect every project to be completed at once. Over on the bow of the ship, the forecastle deck has finally reopened. It's been closed ever since the ship itself closed in May of 2020, and it didn't reopen with the ship in April of 2023. It took many months to complete rust abatement work on the old machinery on the deck, and then afterwards, temporary plywood had to be installed to make a smooth surface over the rotting planks of teak decking. Eventually, the ship plans to replace whole sections of rotten deck with new teak planks or similar species of wood, but for now, plywood will allow visitors to explore this fascinating area without tripping hazards. Down on the well deck, the wood planks installed in 2019 needed maintenance work done to keep them in good shape and prevent rot. This required pulling up the planks, checking for rot, bolting them back down, installing new wood plugs over the bolts, and sanding down the planks to create new smooth surfaces. A black waterproof sealant material is then beaded in between the planks to prevent rain from getting under the wood and rotting it out. In the main hall on Promenade Deck, the empty tour center kiosk has a new bookstore inside. This helps to keep the main hall feeling lively and in use. Not to mention, sales of the books help earn the ship money for its operation. Nearby, the Lego Queen Mary exhibit has been vandalized by visitors. There are signs all over the 27-foot record-breaking Lego model warning guests not to touch the ship, but of course people think that rules don't apply to anyone when no one is looking. As a result, a few lifeboats have gone missing, and their davits have been damaged. I'd recently watched a vlog filmed aboard the ship, and it showed a grandfather and his grandchildren in this room. The grandfather kept touching the ship, and one of the grandchildren reminded him that the signs said to not touch the model. The grandfather, setting the immature example for his intelligent grandchild, told the kid, "No one is watching, so how can I be doing something wrong?" I have a quick edit to make. I just learned that the Lego model was moved to the museum lobby near the engine rooms. This was likely done to prevent further vandalizing since this lobby is monitored better. On a positive note, there is a new virtual tour playing on a screen in the Lego model room, showing a Minecraft version of Queen Mary created by social media personality Milad Shafayizad. Sorry if I mispronounced your last name, I've never said it before. If you love Minecraft and want to see the most realistic interpretation of the ship in that game, then stop on in and take a gander. No one has created a more accurate version of Minecraft RMS Queen Mary than Milad has. Over in the music room, a copy of an artistic rendering of the famed band leader Henry Hall has been placed on a stand to represent the man who was the first band leader aboard the Queen Mary and was inspired by the ship to create the song Somewhere at Sea. This image will soon be framed, and it was donated by my friend and co-website founder, Shiloh Svoboda. If you'd like to learn more about Henry Hall on his trip aboard the Queen Mary during the Maiden voyage, check out the link in the description for our online Queen Mary encyclopedia called RMS QM Wiki. Down on A deck, the original purser's office sign has been reinstalled in its rightful place. The letters are beautifully illuminated, and it shines as a reminder of the ship's once elegant decoration. I hear that more projects like this are currently underway, as money that was donated towards the ship's repairs are now being spent on repairing and replacing the ship's decorative elements and artwork, some of which haven't been seen in decades. Behind the purser's desk was a display of a spare medallion of Her Majesty Queen Mary. When the original marble medallion was removed from the ship and sent back to the royal family, replicas were made out of plaster and were permitted to be displayed. One replica currently sits in place of the original in Main Hall. The spare was on display behind the purser's desk. Now that spare has been placed in storage for safekeeping. On our deck, on the starboard elevators, one of the doors has been given a test cleaning. Likely the management is testing a product that will properly clean and shine the metal. The ship itself is a historic artifact, and you can't just go around scrubbing everything with chemicals. Careful choices need to be made to ensure that modern cleaning products won't damage surfaces over time. I like that management is being careful and selective, because it was that lack of care from the former management that led to horrible things like the original parquet flooring in the main lounge having to be ripped up because it was soaked with years of carpet cleaner. In a previous update, I mentioned that the ship arrived in Long Beach in 1967, carrying 2 London double-decker buses and several London phone boxes. Authentic artifacts from the UK that would complement the British ship's new life in California. Well, 2 of these boxes were left near the abandoned village area beyond the parking lot. The village is supposed to be demolished sometime within the next 12 months, and I had worried that these 2 artifacts would be left behind for the bulldozers. Thankfully, one of them was moved closer to the ship and sits among 4 other boxes awaiting restoration, but there is still another booth sitting in the village area. Down in the museum lobby of the ship, an old exhibit featuring artifacts from the ship's printing shop has been reintroduced. Now you can see the incredible machine which printed flyers, menus, newspapers, and programs for passengers on a daily basis. Nearby are cross-section models of RMS Queen Mary and her younger sister RMS Queen Elizabeth, made by Tom Varney. Back in my January update, I had explained the situation of the abandoned Russian submarine sitting next to the Queen Mary. I can't re-explain the issue in every update I make. The shorthand of it is that the engineering firm who were hired to inspect it insists that the submarine cannot be saved. It is structurally unsound. Removing it from the lagoon is a tricky task. It cannot be floated out or lifted out without risking it breaking apart and putting crane operators and other professionals in danger. That being said, the city of Long Beach knows that one way or another it has to go, and it will, and how they will do that will eventually be decided. They are dedicated to getting rid of it. The problem is that it is in a financial and legal limbo, and I've been saying for the past year or so that I wouldn't expect to see anything happen to the submarine until 2025. That's an oversimplified version of the story, but like I said, I can't re-explain it for every video. Since the Queen Mary had reopened to the public a year ago, the ship has seen a surge in popularity. Every event they host now sells out, and they recently introduced a fresh new concept for the Queen Mary. But first, here's a short list of the recent offerings the ship has provided. Meet Me at the Mary takes place every Tuesday starting at 4 p.m. and functions as a happy hour for the observation bar, complete with period music like jazz or swing dance. Then there's Margaritas on the Mary, which is a summertime event that takes place on weekends, and you can get your margaritas and tacos up on sun deck. Every month, they host movie nights, which is free to attend, and they play a popular movie on the lawn just outside the ship. There is a wine and painting event you can sign up for called Brushes and Bubbly. There is a night market, which is an event they've recently tested and are bringing back, where local vendors can sell their items just outside the ship. They also recently held a 4th of July event that had completely sold out and proved to be very popular. Everything the ship seems to introduce now proves to be a success. This bodes well for the future of the ship, which itself has been turning a profit ever since it reopened in 2023. But the latest offering is perhaps the most ambitious yet. Queen Mary's Transatlantic Vacation is a 4-day, 3-night experience package that somewhat replicates the feeling of a transatlantic crossing aboard this famous ocean liner, without the ship having to leave the dock. For a flat fee, you can get a room for 3 nights, unlimited free tours, free deck games and exercise classes, 20% discounts at restaurants on the ship for the whole stay, a free dinner and show, free shuttles to select local attractions, scavenger hunts, a program for your children to attend during your stay, and access to several other offerings that no other visitors can see or participate in. For an extra fee, you can even take a shuttle to various other events happening off of the ship. The program was introduced in early June of this year and offered only 3 of these voyages, one starting July 22nd through 25th, another on August 5th through 8th, and lastly, a holiday-themed voyage set this December 16th through 19th. In the description below, I will have a link to the itinerary that will take place on the July and August voyages. Now, keep in mind, these first 2 voyages might seem a little sparse, and that's because this kind of thing is completely new to the Queen Mary. Management hasn't done anything like this before, and they're testing the waters to see how popular it is, and to see what they can do to improve the experience in the future. So if you're expecting a grand gala dinner night or grand experiences, you probably won't see that on the itinerary until this December or even on future voyages next year. And to the folks who might criticize this as being silly or a fake voyage, consider that just 3 days after this event was publicized, the July and August voyages had completely sold out. The December voyage is still available to book right now, but perhaps not for long. This unexpected interest shows that people want to experience what a voyage feels like on a 1930s ocean liner. The target audience is mainly locals who are looking for a staycation. A staycation is a vacation people take not too far from home that doesn't break the budget but yet delivers an immersive experience. The Queen Mary, as I've stated for 3 years now, is perfect for that kind of thing. The ship will never sail again, let's make that quite clear. She's not going anywhere. And that's actually a good thing. In the 31 years that Queen Mary sailed the ocean, she carried only 2 million passengers. But in Long Beach, she gets visited by 2.5 million people annually. That's like having the entire population of Houston, Texas visit this grand old ocean liner every single year. And I can confidently say, as long as these offerings stay popular and the management at the Queen Mary keep up the fantastic repair work, the ship will live up to the foretelling once uttered in 1934 by astrologer Lady Mabel Fortesque Harrison, when she predicted, "The Queen Mary, launched today, will know its greatest fame and popularity when she never sails another mile and never carries another passenger." Well, folks, that's it for this update. To see my documentaries about the Queen Mary's history, be sure to click on the recommended videos, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel for more repair updates. Thanks for watching.